All right, Carmen Logue, welcome. Today you're going to be showing me the InterSystems Report server powered by Logi. Let's just dive right in. Tell me a little bit about what you can do here and what we can expect to see for reports.
Yeah, that sounds great. Thanks for inviting me. And today what I'm going to do is start with the report server portion of the product. We have some other content where we talk about how you design reports, but actually what I'm going to do here is presume that those reports have already been designed either by one of our great partners or somebody within the organization. And now we're going to go to the other side of it and kind of see what the people who are doing kind of that last piece of reporting and delivering reports to the business are going to look at. So I'm going to first of all pretend that I'm the person who created the reports, and I'm going to log on here as an administrator just to kind of take a look at what I've loaded and make sure it's okay before I tell everybody else to go ahead and start using it. So I loaded it into the public folder, and we're going to use this Whole Foods data set, which hopefully a lot of our customers are already familiar with. And you can see there's 3 files here, and the catalog is one that I use to kind of is what's used to organize everything. Most of the other people are not going to see that. That's really just something that I see because I'm the administrator. And then I've loaded two files here. This Whole Foods transaction report is actually 3 reports. So I'm going to just run that, and I'm going to take a look at all 3 of them and just make sure that they came over okay, that they look okay. And so you can see here, this is one that, it looked okay when I did it, but this 3D thing is kind of busy. So I'm going to just make a real quick change here to make it maybe just a little cleaner. So I'm going to change it to just a stacked bar so that it's in 2D, so it doesn't have to, be quite as busy. And I think I'm going to change it. Try that. Nope. There we go. All right. So we're starting out strong here. So normally what happens, there we go. Okay, I must just not have clicked hard enough. So I'm going to just then save that, okay? And I'm not going to save the sort or filter, I don't think. I just want to save the way that it looks for my end users. All right, so that's the first thing I'm going to do. And then I'm just going to go back now, and I'm going to look at the other 2 reports as well, and just make sure that those look okay too. So this is now you can see it looks just like a stack bar. I've got a summary there as well. And then finally, I've got some detail information. So that all looks pretty good. So now I think I'm ready to make that available to my end user. So I'm going to log off. I'll send out an email probably and just let them know, hey, it's time for you to come on and use the reports are there for you to use. So now I'm going to log on as an end user.
And so could you tell me a little bit more about who the end user would be? Like who's the person that's now logging in as Carmen in this case? Yeah.
So like I said, the first person I was with was probably the person who's doing the report design. So they have a good understanding of what the data is and how to look at it. The next person that I am right now is going to be probably the person who is either an analyst or somebody who's kind of preparing the reports for the rest of the organization. So I'm either going to, take these reports and make them available so that the business can take a look at how they're doing, like on a daily or weekly basis. They want to know how many calamari they've sold and that kind of thing. Or I'm going to be somebody who is going to just dig in a little bit more and try to figure out some conclusions about this historical data. So if I come back in here, I'm going to go back to that public folder. And as you might expect, I have, for one thing, I don't see the catalog. And I have a few less privileges than I did as the person who I was, than as the administrator who was logged on before. So I'm going to go back to that same report that I was looking at as the administrator. And so I can see, it's here as this stacked bar, and I'm going to, look around a little bit. I can see, bagels, I can see donuts. I can look at, a few things together if I want. So I'm going to play around with this a little bit and maybe just take a look at how things are, what things look like. Let's look at, free-range donuts are always interesting. So let's take a look at that. And, one thing I notice here is that Region 2 didn't sell any free-range donuts. So I'm kind of curious about that. So this might be the kind of thing where I would then export it to, to send it. So let's just export that as a PDF. And I might send that to my Region 2 team and say, hey, what's going on with the free-range donuts? I can, I see you didn't sell any over that last reporting period. So it gives me a way just to kind of, as the analyst or somebody who's preparing the reports, to be able to send those out and send that information out to somebody who's, not logged on here or doesn't, isn't really part of their role. The other kinds of things I can do here are, and I'll open up that same report again, and we'll look at another piece. Is let me go look at the summary data. Okay, and now you can see over here this. I've got this button over here called Interactive View. So I'm going to go there, which just lets me make some changes and then I can save things. One of the differences, though, between me and the prior user that we saw is that I can only save a new copy of it. I can't save it to that shared directory. So I'm going to save this to my reports directory. Okay. And then I can start kind of making changes that'll stick with it. So it's just a slightly different view that we have and a different set of capabilities for that person.
So can other users with the same privileges as you access reports that you save in your My Reports directory?
Only if I share them with them. So for the most part, that My Reports directory is kind of my personal copy, but I can push things back out to a shared directory so that other people can use them too. Yeah. So now if I look at this one, I've got the nice little picture of the donuts there, and maybe, one of the things I want to do, I can do some simple things like sort. So right now it's sorted by product name. If I want to look at ZD first, right, then I switch it the other way. I can also do things like kind of drill down into, the daily, the detail level stuff that I have there. So there's a few things that I can do there that just let me kind of play around with that report a little bit more, maybe format it a little bit. And I just go back to that other view. And then you can see here I've got these other commands. So since it's saved in my directory now, I can do some editing in addition to just kind of to running it, exporting it, that kind of thing. And one of the other things I can do is schedule this report. So we looked at how we can export it to a number of different files, but if I want to schedule this, and I'm going to just schedule that summary report. And I can set this up as a schedule, and you can see I can do a number of different things here. I can either save it to disk, so if I want to just publish it somewhere so people can go look at it on their own. I can email it, and I'll add that. Okay. And I can do a few of these things at once. So if I also want to email it and send it to the printer, I can do that. Obviously, I have to have my printer set up. And then I can either run it right now or I can schedule it so that it runs. Let's just do it on a weekly basis. We'll do it Monday mornings at 6 o'clock. All right. And then I can finish that. And so now if I go in and look at my tasks, you can see I added that one, which is gonna kick off next Monday at 6 a.m., sending it to both email and to the printer. So I can just kind of manage that set of tasks too. So that's just another way that I have to kind of share that information and push it out to other people who might want to, who might need access to it. The other thing I can yeah.
I'm sorry.
No,
I was
ahead.
just curious if you're able to expose it as HTML or as a web page.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. So that's another good way to kind of make that information available. Now with reports, the main focus here is on, really looking at historical data. But, some of those things like you saw me do with kind of expanding the fields and just looking at it, sorting, doing that kind of thing, you can interact with it when you push it out to HTML as well. So it's just kind of a nice way, another way to get that information out to other people in the organization who need to look at it or make decisions based on some of that data.
Carmen, thank you so much for walking us through that. Could you tell us a little bit about how new users can get a chance to get their hands on the server?
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, one thing that I'm really excited about is coming up with our virtual summit. We are going to have a learning lab for people who are getting started with the design for making reports. So that's one thing they can look at. And then the other thing is if you're an existing InterSystems customer, definitely talk to your salesperson or give me a shout, and we'll figure out how to get you started as well.
Great. Thank you so much. Looking forward to the Learning Lab.
Yeah, me too.